Welcome to the Full Minded with Alyssa Bette podcast, where my mission is to normalize the human experience. I believe there's power in authenticity and building a community immersed in it. I plan on bringing you on an in-depth and transparent journey of my life through solo episodes. I will also be interviewing a range of individuals who are willing to share their unique stories. On this podcast, we will dive into topics such as mental health, heartbreak, loss, change, trauma, self-love, and every other topic that makes up the human experience. While I do my very best to provide you insight and knowledge on these subject matters, this podcast is not a substitute for professional help. I am not a licensed therapist. I am simply a human sharing my experiences with the intent to help people feel less alone. If you are suffering, please consult with a licensed professional. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy the episode. Hello guys, welcome back to another episode. I am chilling in bed today and I've actually got my mini mic in hand, the one that I traveled Bali with. It's such a good mic and it's so convenient. I don't have to hook anything up. I just have to plug in the little Bluetooth into the bottom of my phone and relax. So I'm just chilling on my heating pad and I know it's the middle of summer, but to be fair, Canada is always cold and so is your girl. So here we are. And I was a little bit struggling with the topic. I feel like I've been so busy these last couple of weeks, adjusting back into Western culture from living in Bali for 3 months and getting back into the swing of things with my company and my events and all that. So I feel like all my energy and brain cells have been pouring into that. And I was struggling to find a topic. Well, to be fair, I did really want to do an episode on dating advice and just like dating experience in general, because I feel like it'd be one really informative, educational, and funny. So I do have that plan for you guys, but I've actually invited a guest on for that. So that will be the next episode for sure. We're recording it next week. I'm really excited. So I'm actually way more excited now that I'm bringing a guest on for it, because I think it'll be even better to have someone asking me questions and me asking them questions. It's a man, so I think it'll be a cool POV to have, a male's perspective and a female perspective on, dating advice and dating experience and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. That's going to be a really good one. But today I was like, what could I speak about? What am I passionate about? And I just let my mind just kind of get creative with it. But I think what I've decided, well, I know because I hit start, is I want to talk about the let them theory. And for those that know about it, so it was, first discussed by Mel Robbins, who is a podcaster, motivational speaker. She's doing a lot of cool shit. I love Mel Robbins. And, the let them theory was basically something that she had posted about on social media and discussed in further detail, just being that we are to let people be. Let them do what they're going to do, because no matter what, people are always going to act in a way that is serving them and that is in alignment with them, and that has to do with their trauma and their pain and, how much they love themselves, and to just let them. And I think it's so powerful the more that you understand this theory that she's talking about, and the more that you let it happen in your own life. For me, I have always been someone who has wanted to fix people. I've been a fixer. And I think deep down, I want everyone to be good, and I want everyone to be saved, and I want everyone to feel loved and feel the level of healing that I've done. And I feel like I've always just been I want to help you get better, and you need to go to therapy, and you need to do this, and you need to do that, especially in my romantic relationships and especially in my friendships. And I feel like more often than not, I've attracted partners and friends based on me subconsciously wanting to do that. So I end up in this cycle of, let me fix you. Let me better you. And then by the time I put all this work into them, I'm like, okay, you're not really what I want. You're not what I want, because I don't want someone who's fixed. And that was a really powerful realization for me a couple of years ago. And it's totally reframed the way that I date and the way that I think and the way that I attract certain people, because now I've realized that that is something that my mind is subconsciously wanting to do. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm artsy or what, because I used to scrapbook hella when I was young. But I'm like, why do I need these projects? Like, why do I need to feel like I'm fixing them? I don't know if it's, rooted because in childhood, I basically did raise my three younger siblings. So I'm like, is it because that feeling feels normal to me to be able to be like responsible for someone's upbringing or their growth or their development, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's multiple reasons why I am that way, why I was that way. I'm really working hard to not be that way anymore, because I think I've just, in the last couple of years, especially in this single time, I've understood the value of actually having a partner that betters your life. I know that sounds so crazy at 32 to realize, but no shame. We're all developing at our own speed and pace, and there's no judgment. So even though sometimes I like to judge myself, whoops, but I feel like because of the work that I poured into myself and the love and the healing and choosing sobriety and starting my own company, and I've just really themed the last few years to be solely about me. And it's been a really immersive, healing, deep, beautiful journey, and hard for sure. Definitely hard. But I feel like the more you fuck with yourself, it becomes a snowball effect, and you just like fuck with yourself even more. And then you're like, yes, I'm a badass bitch. And you do these mantras and you do these, the manifestations you start to see come to life. And, my business has been blossoming and so successful, and I'm surrounded by people who I love and trust. And yeah, just even taking myself on those solo trips and just learning to deal with anything that gets thrown at you, good or bad. You become so like incredible at trusting yourself and whatever happens next. Like, I feel like my anxiety has significantly decreased since traveling alone, because like every time my body's like, oh, should we be anxious about this? I'm like, no, because think of XYZ. Like, look at what we just did. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, true. Why would this make me nervous? So it's been a really cool journey. And in, living through it, I've realized I don't want to take care of people to the extent that I was before. Like, my mission to heal the world is very separate, because I'm like, this is the information I have, do with it as you want. But when I was dating people that, needed more attention and care, I was pouring everything into them. And I'm someone who, when I love hard, right? So when I'm in a relationship with you, like, I will hold you down for sure. Like, I've got you, like, absolutely not a question, not a doubt. And when, attracting those partners that I did in past, it came with a whole lot of baggage and a lot of weight that I was putting on myself, that I think I just thought things were supposed to be hard. I think for a long time, because I grew up in an environment that was so hard and so challenging and so toxic, and it was survival, I just viewed the world as, this has to be hard. So I think I've just answered my own question in discovering this, that I naturally attracted people that needed work, because one, I kind of seen that type of relationship in my life of just them trying to fix each other and patch each other. And it was just like a mess. And then also it kind of gave me that cortisol rush that I was craving from having such an intense childhood. Whoa. Okay. My therapist would be really proud. I'm going to need to finish this episode. We just got there. But yeah, when looking back on those relationships and the stress it caused me, and honestly, the resentment it built, because though I consented to it at first, after a while of taking care of someone or being the only person who's invested in growing the relationship and growing as an individual, you of course are like, what the fuck, So I think just working on myself, in the last couple of years, and, manifesting a healthy relationship one day when I'm ready, no rush. And watching other healthy relationships develop, and surrounding myself with couples that are, successful and incredible to each other and lift each other up and are very much like equals in a lot of ways. It's just inspired me to find someone who can match my freak. You know what I mean? And now my standards are through the roof. Like, before I was like, if you held the door open for me, like, forget about it. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I have the bare minimum standards. bare minimum. Okay. Now I'm like, I know my type. I used to be like, I don't have a type. Anyone who gave me breadcrumbs, I was, let's go. That's totally fine. Now I know my type, and that's physically, mentally, everything. They have to be super emotionally intelligent. I'm going to save this for the dating episode because we'll get into it then. I think that would be a good way, so stay tuned to hear my type. But now I'm so particular. Like if you can't, because I got my own table, I got my own feast. So what are you going to provide that is better for me, that is going to improve my life because I already give myself so much, So I feel like it's this beautiful cycle that I'm in of just realizing and discovering that I am, one, worthy of a healthy love and a calm love, and two, worthy of somebody else that's, coming in and adding to my life, not just adding stress, like adding value and knowledge and intelligence and experience and calmness. Like that's such a beautiful thing. I absolutely want that, of course. All that to say that when in relationships like that, and I think relationships in general, we obviously want, the best for the other person. We want them to improve. For me, having a significant amount of mental health issues, I have a lot of trust issues, a lot. And a lot of times in the relationship, I fixate on my partner's motives and actions and moves and moods and everything, right? And so many of the times I do that, it's because I learned to be hypervigilant and predict people's moves to be safe. I understand where that comes from 100%, but it consumed me. Like, what if they cheat? What if they leave me? What if they do this? What if they do that? And when you're coming from a place of distrust in yourself or in general, you're always going to be hyperfixated on other people's motives and, what they're doing. And I'm actually really curious to see me in my next relationship because I've done so much work. And to be fair, if you have BPD and you're single, it always feels like you don't have BPD until you're in another relationship. And then you're like, fuck, I certainly still have it. But it just feels, at least for me, my symptoms are significantly less when I'm single because there's no one to trigger me. My friends don't trigger me on the same level a romantic partner would. All this to say that when Mel dropped the let them theory and I heard about it, it gave me a lot of peace because though it's scary to just let go and let them, that's going to tell you everything you need about who you want in your relationship. I feel like oftentimes when we don't feel we have control of our mind, we try to control the exterior and other people and what they're doing and their actions. But the truth of the matter is by letting them be, like if they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat. Let them. If they're going to leave, they're going to leave. Let them. What if you are blocking who's really meant for you because you're hyper fixated on not letting this person leave? And they're not even for you. You're crying over a door where there's nothing behind it. That's your ego. It's really powerful the more you dive into it and the more you, include it in your mantras too. Like, let them. If they want to disrespect me, let them. They want to be late, let them. You let people show up in the way that they are, and then you get to decide if that's enough for you, for your standards, for what you want, for the life you're curating. Let people be who they are, and then you decide. To be honest, that is you having all the power. That is you having control over your own life and your own, narrative and your own story and what you want out of it. Because by letting people, by relinquishing that control, that need to control people, and by letting people show up the way that they are, that's the fastest way to figure out if they're your person or they're your people. People tell on themselves. You just have to listen. And I was not listening. I was trying to control. I was trying to manipulate the narrative. I wanted people to stay. I wanted the people that I chose to fucking stay because I loved them for reasons that made sense to me at that time. But the fact of the matter is, they're not meant to be your people if they don't stay. So I'm trying to force, relationships that are not meant for me or they're not working for me. They're not in alignment with me. And you guys know that when you're not in alignment, you're not a magnet for what's meant for you. So you're missing out on what is meant for you because you're trying to control what you think is meant for you. This whole theory is it's so powerful. And if you haven't heard it, I feel like you're going to absolutely love this episode. Listen to it as many times as you need. It's so powerful. Next time you think, what if they, let them. You are strong enough to deal with everything that you've ever been through in your life this far, and you've overcome it. You will be able to overcome whatever happens next. I think so much of it is just fear-based, right? Of course we don't want to hurt. Like, we're humans. Like, it hurts to hurt. What the fuck? It sucks. But so many valuable lessons and so much growth, all the growth that you've ever had is because of the hurt. It's because of the discomfort. It's not because of the joy. And I do believe that by implementing this let them theory into your life, you have so much more free time to work on you. Work on you and how you show up and how you love and how you self-regulate without anyone else. Work on that, because when you're not spending and wasting all of your time and energy on wondering what people are going to do, you have so much more time to love you and to curate a life that you want and to be in alignment with yourself. So then in turn, you have more self-trust for when things do go to shit or people do let you down, because that's going to happen regardless. But the cool thing about this theory is it's allowing you the freedom to say, let it go. Let them be. Stop worrying about what you can't control anyways in the first place. It's improving your quality of life until something happens, if it even does. But yeah, I think this is just a very powerful lesson. It's something that's absolutely changed the way that I look at relationships and friendships. And it's helped me with that feeling and that need to control things. So I really wanted to share it with you guys. This is a little mini episode. Keep it short and sweet because it's powerful. This is all you need. But implement this into your life. Research it a little bit more if you'd like, and let me know how your life changes. Honestly, I want the feedback. I want your thoughts on this episode, and I want the feedback from your life when you start implementing it, because it's going to change. It's a game changer. It's going to be hard at first. Of course it is. But then you're going to get into the groove of it. Just even saying, let them, every time. What if they let them? Let them show you who they are. Let them have the space for you to sit back and let them show you who they are. This is awesome. I love it. It's changed my life. You have to keep me posted with how it changes yours. Okay, much love, guys. Until next time, I hope you're all taking care of yourselves and resting when you need it, because rest is productive. That's like my thing lately, my mantra, because sometimes I really struggle with rest, but it actually is so productive, especially to creative brains. Like, we need it. We need to birth more creative ideas. So I hope you're resting and taking care of yourselves. And until next time. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I loved having you. If you wish to support this podcast, please follow us so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on social media at Full Minded Podcast. Please visit our website at www.fullmindedpodcast.com to submit all your questions. If you wish to be a guest on this podcast, please fill out the form on our website to apply. Your continued support means the world, so thank you again for taking the time out of your day to tune into Full Minded with Alyssa Bette. Until next time, be kind to yourselves and remember that there is power in owning our imperfect and messy lives. It's all a part of the human experience, and you're not alone in it.